Hello and welcome to episode 23 of Terminology Tuesday. Terminology Tuesdays where I have a term of the week and I break down what it means and where it fits into the bigger picture that is the sport of dodgeball. And this will actually be my last Terminology Tuesday for the foreseeable future. I kind of covered all the beginner terms and even got into some more advanced terms throughout this series, and I hope you guys found it helpful. And if I think of any other terms or somebody comments another term in the comments, I will definitely have another Terminology Tuesday come out on a Tuesday. However, it will no longer be a weekly thing. I'll still have videos on Fridays though. But this week's, the last term of the week for the foreseeable future is burden ball. So I'm going to talk about what the burden ball is, where you tend to see this rule set, and how it basically breaks down. So let's jump right into it. So burden ball rules is a rule set that you see commonly in competitive 8.5 and no sting tournaments, specifically in the US. I'm not sure how popular this rule set is in other countries. You sometimes will see it for foam in the US, but you do not use this rule set for any of the WDBF foam or cloth. So for burden ball, the whole thing is the burden ball is a different color than the other 5 balls. So usually you're playing this rule set with 6 balls, and in order to quickly determine burden, instead of using the advantage rule that World Dodgeball Federation uses for foam, which can be confusing for newer players, this makes it really clear to see who has burden. So say you have 5 yellow balls and 1 red ball. The red ball is going to be your burden ball. So whenever you have 3 balls on each side, whoever has the red burden ball on their side would have burden in that instance. It really does save time on figuring out burden when you do the advantage rules for foam, because you have to who threw last, how many players, this and that. There's a lot of steps to figure it out, whereas this you can visually quickly see who has burden. So the burden ball helps you determine who has the burden or the advantage when you each have 3 balls on your side, because again, whoever has the burden ball would have burden. And from there, whoever has more balls would have burden. So if you had 4 balls on your side, whether you had the burden ball on your side or not, you would have burden because you had more balls. Now, in order to relieve burden, you don't actually have to throw the burden ball. Like I kind of just hinted at, if you had 2 balls on your side, one being the burden and one being a normal colored ball, you wouldn't have burden because the other team has more balls than you. So that's where a lot of teams can come up with some good strategies to hide who's going to throw, because sometimes when you're playing this rule set, teams assume you're going to throw the burden ball, when in actuality, you don't have to throw it. So for example, if you had 3 balls on your side and one of them was burden and 2 of them were normal colored, you could throw the normal colored ball and relieve burden, because then you would be left with 2 balls. And if you had 4 balls and you had 1 burden and 3 normal colored balls, you could throw 2 normal colored balls to relieve burden. Now you could easily just throw the burden ball and relieve burden, because you would only have 3 balls at that point, but you don't actually have to throw the burden ball to relieve burden. So finally, a rule to keep in mind with the burden ball rules is you have to throw away burden within the throw count in order for the clock to reset. So unlike WDBF foam, where any ball that is thrown will restart the throw clock, with the burden ball rules, your team must relieve burden within the allotted throw count time in order for the clock to reset, or else you will have to give the other team all balls. So you can throw whichever balls you want as long as you are relieving burden within the throw clock. So I hope this video gave you a better understanding of burden ball. And just really quickly, I want to thank you all for tuning in and week out. This series was intended to help beginners learn some of the rules with practical examples and learn some strategies with practical examples. And my whole goal is just to get dodgeball in front of more people's faces. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. It helps more people see my videos. And drop a comment with any other terms you'd like me to cover, because like I said, even though this is the last weekly Terminology Tuesday, I will make Terminology Tuesdays here and there when other terms come to mind or other people send me terms. And don't forget to tune in on Fridays. I will still have videos weekly on Fridays. Thank you for watching.